All right. So, welcome to SIG Manual of Primes, Sunday morning at Gauntetcon. Uh, my name is Jason, and I'll be the game master. And we are just looking over characters. So, before we dig into it, let me tell you a little bit about the setting because I have a canned introduction that's super useful. The city is a Mobius strip floating through the void. It's the nexus of all the verse, where the eternal planes and infinite primes meet. It's a twisted ribbon of a free city, where monsters come to scheme and gods come to die. We call it Sig, the city between. It spins round the infinite planes, rubbing elbows and blurring lines. Sig is always bound to 3 planes at a time, and the competing interests make for a lot of interesting visitors. Our cobblestone streets are flooded with bashers, explorers, venturers, refugees, and just about everyone else you can imagine. We got rules, sure, in this place of planar trade and cultural exchange. Take care not to bend those rules too much, lest you offend the wrong power. There's plenty of them lurking in the shadows, looking to get their hooks into you. We got factions of all kinds that run things, from the Herald's Guild to the Dust Keepers. They do important work when they aren't busy knifing each other in the alleys. The factions are proxies for the planes that back them, which means you tend to get 3 of them causing trouble any given day. Word to the wise, avoid guild politics unless you want a long stay with Tranquil God. While I'm at it, you better stop staring at those bloody hooded cultists in the corner. You don't want to attract attention from some servitors of some planar power. Tritonius has been flooding the streets with his bloody fishmen ever since the plane of waves got the tether, and they're not the kind you take home to mother. Look, I'm no racist, but I saw one of them bite someone's head clean off last week. I like my head. Makes it easier to wear my hat. So yeah, we're stuck in the middle of the bloody factions and powers and their damn turf wars. Well, welcome to the mythical city of Sig, kid. Now give me your coin or you ain't living to see much more of it. All right. I need something more stabby. That's the issue. All right. So with that under yes. So with that under control, let's go through and I'm just going to check on the character sheet. And yes, I get to hide my face by showing off the Roll20 screen. This is delightful. Application windows. So this should now be showing showing the map of Sig for you folks. So we've got Kagra. We do not have Tenale. So I'm showing you the belief sheet, which is represents the various things that your characters generally hold true and that you're trying to fight with. And for tokens, I'm using Psychic Moles because why not? Okay, so we have Agra Yard, Jakath, and Dessa. So we don't have the Polari Ice Elf Assassin or the Refugee Doctor. Okay, so start off each of you has a bit of italicized text on your bio. I would like each of you to read it out to the group in turn, starting with Kagra.
Alright, my name is Kagra the Gentle. I am a feral, one of the beast folk descended from the plane of freedom. Family matters in the city between, but I come from a particularly large one, and mine is everywhere. I have sisters, cousins, and uncles throughout the hive, each of which have different bestial features. I grew up defending my kin from the vermin and wandering monsters who crawl through the bleeding warrens. Someone had to put meat on the table after all. I believe that you can depend on family. I also believe that words never solve problems.
Excellent. Next, let's go with Yard.
Greetings. My name is Yard the Pious, a priest in the City of Devils. The city is filled with the divine and infernal powers from the ancient primordials who make the verse tremble to the smallest household gods. Each of them has their servitors, both with and beyond the city between. We priests act as intercessors with the powers, spreading their message and doing them favors in exchange for some divine blessings. It's never a boring day, though. I believe that every path is unique. I also believe that no god is the greatest.
Excellent. Jakath, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Jakath Veilborn, and I study the verse. I'm a thing of shifting black veils, whose mother was never seen, and whose gifts are strange even by Sig standards. My unusual origins drove me to study planar cosmology and become a portal smith. I have studied the forbidden secrets hidden on the conceptual plane of law. I have spoken with wise women from dozens of prime worlds. I have walked the hidden paths of the verse. I believe that knowledge is a gateway. I also believe that magic cannot be controlled.
Wonderful. And Dessa.
My name is Dessa the Shadow Broker. Many things. Proud gnome from Riverward, a brilliant journalist from the Sig Gazetteer, and a servant of Feralax, the Whisperer. What I mean is, you can trust what I have to say. I walk the mean streets of Sig, investigating crime, revealing secrets, make the world a better place for the little guy, no matter the cost. I believe that secrets are living things. I also believe that true strength is kindness.
Excellent. So, you know how each of you has two beliefs that are already created. You're going to have to each make one additional belief, so you're rounded out to 3. So, each belief has to follow a similar looking format. It has to be a subjective, controversial declaration. So, that is to say, greed is good, nationalism is a poison, you can depend on family, Sig is an alien nightmare. These are all good examples of beliefs. So each belief represents something that you are struggling with and trying to explore in play. You're looking to encounter evidence that either supports or refutes your various beliefs. This means that you want to create a belief that clashes with other beliefs on the table. The setting itself actually has 3 beliefs, and I will zoom in on those to show you what they are. So Sig has beliefs based on whichever planes of existence have the tether. So because the elemental plane of flame has the tether, the belief that it imposes on the city is that passion is incorruptible. So, in addition to everyone being very passionate people without thought of the consequences, the city is also literally on fire. There's buildings made of forged flame, etc. Smoke everywhere, ash, yeah. Because it's bound to the ideological plane of order, the belief is laws are absolute. Those flames flicker in a clockwork pattern. People tend to move in groups, lockstep, walking together. No one jaywalks. That kind of thing. And because we're connected to the conceptual plane of dreams, everyone is connected. So there's a dreamlike logic that seems to pervade the city. And everyone tends to know everyone else in some way. Coincidence is all over the place. And there's sort of a fuzziness around the edges of everyone's perception. So that is what I am incentivized to display to you folks. So let's go through and make those beliefs. First up, because I'm continuing to follow this order, is Kagra. Do you have any ideas for beliefs?
Yeah, I was thinking I wanted to go against the laws are absolute, something about bending the rules for family, or something along those lines.
Okay. Laws are for strangers.
I like that. Laws are for strangers, and honor for those you know. Something along those lines. Like personal honor rather than laws.
Yeah, shorter and snappier is better, so...
Okay. I'll just stick with the first part. That seems fine.
Okay, perfect. Yard.
On a similar note, what was resonating a lot was that tie between sort of controlled passion. That's sort of the feeling I'm getting from this. Is that correct?
Okay. They were saying uncontrolled passion. Like the setting is just effectively be passionate. You'll never make a bad decision if you're passionate.
Oh, cool. Then I want to go with the opposite of that, which is like controlled passion seeks the truth, or something to that effect.
Can it be something like passion deceives, or like I'm getting sort of
totally.
You're Jedi in a world of Sith kind of vibe.
I love it. Yes, I love. I also believe that passion deceives. That kind of rhymes a little bit, which I like too.
So does it deceive the mind or the heart?
I'm a feeler. I feel like it deceives the heart.
Excellent. Now let's spell deceives correctly. All right. Jakath.
I was feeling along a similar line to Lauren. Love is for the weak.
Ooh, beautiful. And Dessa.
So I was thinking something along the lines of, in opposition to words never solve problems. Because Dessa seems to me a very, social person.
Right.
So,
So, opposite to words never solve problems. Is it that, yeah, we don't actually have that one anymore. There is one which is language is a weapon.
mhm.
There is
Action gets things done. Or,
violent,
words
violent.
get things done.
Violence is
Words
uncivilized.
Words open doors.
My only challenge there is that gets a little too close to knowledge as a gateway that Jakath has.
Yeah, okay.
You could be talking more about social words as opposed to informational words. Something like a silver tongue is a key in a lock.
Or like words shine the light or show the way.
Words cut deep.
I do like words cut deep.
Okay.
Let's go with that, and then we can change it if need be.
Okay.
All right. So those are our beliefs. So now that we've got those out of the way, let's so be sure to add those onto your character sheets.
Oh, right.
And then we will.
Is it under political belief?
Whatever belief you have free. So there's all these are tagged by political, family, or spiritual, but that's mostly just suggestions to make sure that people are well-rounded. All right. All right. So each of you knows people in the city. I actually have a complex way of setting this up in larger games, but we'll go with the nice simple way. So let's start by creating the first character, who is the character who both Jakath and Joel, you're playing Kagura, right? Yeah. So Jakath and Kagura have someone in common. So the way that
is it my sister Lori?
you're jumping to the gun, but I love it.
Oh, sorry.
So the way that you do this is each of you is going to start by contributing one element to this character. So it can either be a heritage, meaning you share family in common, a power, meaning you share a spiritual belief in common, you worship the same god, or a faction, meaning you work for the same organization. And since each of you is contributing one of these, Those are sort of the points of similarity that you hold. So let's say if you wanted to make this Lauren your sister or cousin.
Lori is my sister.
Okay.
Lauri.
What's the moniker for Lori?
Moniker, could you explain?
Veilborn, Shadow Broker, the Gentle, that kind of thing.
Oh, got it. She is the Glorious.
Nice.
She is a peacock, half peacock person.
Love it. Jackath, what do you share with Lori the Glorious?
I believe Lori attends the Sage Collegium, as I do, and I think the relationship that her and her brother share disgusts me, like in the sense that I believe that her relying on her brother and family is going to get in the way of her studies.
So what is she studying?
Would you say she's a sort of magus?
Absolutely. But what kind of like esoteric element of magic is she studying? Assume that she's got like a postdoc in magical studies. What is the weird subject that she focuses on?
I think she's an illusionist. I think that works with her peacock blood.
Excellent. All right.
Yes, advanced prismatic color theory, of course. I skipped out on those lectures.
All right. Wonderful. So now we're going to do the same process for Yard and Dessa. So, Yard, what do you share in common with this second character?
What or who?
There is it a heritage, a power, or
I
a
see.
faction?
I feel like this must. Oh, there are a lot of good options. And this is a shadow broker
Yeah.
type, right?
Yeah. Why don't you remind us of Dessa?
So there's a gnome journalist from the Sig Gazetteer, servant of Ferrolux the Whisperer.
Awesome. I kind of want to explore spiritual power. That sounds fun.
Okay. So, Min the Questioner?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just clicked on the amazing tab button and there's like so many options. Looking from these names, the ones that are calling to me are like Alis the Pure,
Oh, Elias the Pure? Yeah.
or Nyx
Sure.
the Oracle. They both sound fun. Which sounds fun to you, Ditha?
I don't know where the names are.
So on your character sheet, where you've got your various the name of your god, if you actually click on that, it gives a drop down of all the gods.
Oh, okay.
I kind of, but now that I think about it, I kind of like Oracle because I feel like that ties in quite well with your gnome journalist.
Yeah, that works.
All right. So, because you're a cleric, I'll just say that any kind of relationship, divine relationship, is a point of similarity. So that totally works.
Cool.
Let me just actually read out what Nyx the Oracle is, because I happen to have the book handy. It's also linked to the same plane as the Sig Gazetteer. Each of the factions and heritages are linked to a plane. So, Nyx the Oracle, the power of time, memory, and dreams. She holds her court in a dream, beneath the dream. She swims in the deep waters of the collective unconsciousness, plucking glittering prophecies from its cool waters. She lives in distant futures and only rarely visits the present to share her wisdom with her followers. She takes a particular pleasure in supporting ambitious mortals with the potential for great accomplishments. She's fascinated with how mortal emotion shapes their futures in ways unpredictable to even her. Her followers whisper prophecies that can only be heard by those bound in slumber.
Awesome.
All right. So, Dessa, what do you share with this character?
Just so this is a god then?
A worshiper of that goddess.
Okay. So maybe they are another. Maybe we share the same faction, like the Gazetteer.
Okay.
And they're another journalist like me, but they I don't know. They have this. They put too much stock in prophecies and such. So I disagree with them because the truth of those can't be confirmed.
All right. So, Kale Redpen is a whisperer of Nyx the Oracle and the assignment editor at the Sig Gazetteer.
I kind of love that we like this character in my mind is one of those gossip magazine writers, like just publishing really inflammatory stuff that they haven't verified.
Yeah.
I hate working on a laptop. All right. I need to redo that. All right. So, now that we've got that, there's just one more character. Zoltan, the Divine. Now, Zoltan's a little bit different. So I need each of you to tell me one fact that you're pretty sure is true about Zoltan. They can be contradictory. And they're entirely up to you. So let's start with Kagra. What do you know about Zoltan?
I know that he cheated on his taxes.
All right. Fantastic. Yard, tell us about Zoltan.
Oh, you stole my thunder. I was going to go for something deliciously mundane as well, but now I feel like I've got to ramp it up.
He could just be a normal guy.
I kind of I don't know why I got this stuck in my head, but he's afraid of the darkness. Like he's afraid of the dark.
That is completely legitimate in this world.
Yes. Yep.
Cool. I'm happy. I was like, this is going to be really lame. But it's
Jakath.
resonating with people.
I Zoltan has sown his seed wildly and has got a few children running around, and they're probably different ages and all that stuff. Yeah.
All right. And Dessa.
Those who earn his displeasure disappear.
All right. So Zoltan the Divine is one of the local heads of the Enforcers Guild, which are half mob, half cops. But they tend to be more on the cops on the take or police brutality end of the cop spectrum. So everyone respects Zoltan because you don't live if you disrespect Zoltan. And his large family is well protected. I'm getting an Al Capone vibe. Now, the one challenge here is that Zoltan is now dead. That is how we start the first scene. So let's create the first scene, and in order to do that, each person is going to have to roll their smoke attribute. So on your character sheet, you've got two attributes: spark, which you use whenever you're portraying your character, and smoke, when you're portraying sort of the world. So, for instance, if you want to play someone in your faction, you can do so just by using your smoke attribute. If you want to be directly acting in a scene, you're using your spark. So we set up every scene by following the same sort of procedure. So let's go with that. So everyone roll your smoke. You should just be able to do that by clicking on the die. So it looks like Robert has good odds of doing something. So we're currently missing Joel and Ellen.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I'm clicking on the die and it's not going.
Mm.
Oh, there we go. So I got a 7.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So you've got little check marks on your character sheet. Those represent your skills. So please uncheck those. If the last person who was playing your character left them checked, and I forgot to remove those.
Okay.
So what actually showed there was a roll of 1 plus 6.
Okay. So I got a 1 on that one.
Yeah, you got a 1. All right. So we have an 11, an 8, and an 8. So if we could get both Dessa and Jakath to re-roll. All right. So we've got Jason at 11, followed by Dessa at 8.4, followed by Jakath at 8.2. So the top 3 rolls in every scene will frame part of the scene. These scenes all consist of 3 components. There is the platform, which is the initial situation. It's sort of the snapshot. Which consists of where the scene is taking place, who's present, that kind of thing. How much time has passed since the last scene. There is the tilt, which consists of the inciting incident. So based on the platform, what is going on, what kind of action is occurring, which is forcing the players to act. The third and final component is the question, which is based on the tilt that you just created. What is the question that you're trying to answer? When you've answered the question, you can finish the scene. So, in descending order, we can choose to create which of these 3 things we would like to create. And then we go through it in the order of platform, tilt, and question. So I'm going to claim the platform because it's nice and simple. Dessa, do you want the tilt or the question?
I'll take the tilt.
Okay. And Jakath gets the question.
Yeah.
So, the platform. This scene is going to take place in a seedy bar on the Isle of Spirits, which is the bar district. Right here. Let's move the Roll20 so that people have access to it. So we're in, all of you are in a bar or tavern on the Isle of Spirits. And it's run by a very enthusiastic imp who always makes sure that your glasses are full, and is torn between tending to you and commiserating with this morose giant in the corner. However, in the back corner is the slumped form of Zoltan the Divine. So that's the platform. Tilt, what is the inciting incident? What is the thing that's forcing you to act in this scene?
I think that one of the servers, a waiter or waitress, goes to ask Zoltan if he wants anything, and discovers that he's not just sleeping, and there's a bit of a panic.
All right. And what is the question of the scene?
What is their best whiskey? That's a bad joke. No. What happened to Zoltan?
Okay, sounds good. So, you want more of this whiskey? The imp pours it into your glass without actually waiting for your acknowledgement. And then off in the corner, you hear, but wait, Xerix, we have a spilled whiskey. I repeat, we have a spilled whiskey. And Xerix just goes still. Just chat amongst yourselves. Gloth in the corner might need some company. Why don't you keep him company? And then the imp flutters off towards the slumped form of Zoltan. What do you do?
So I want to try and listen in to whatever's going on over in that corner.
Okay. There's a lot of, what are we going to do? How can we deal with the body? Oh God, we're full of customers. Seriously, I don't want problems with that crazy shadow thing. Did you hear what that did? Sorry?
Oh, I was going to say, does Kagat see his sister's college friend there?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to leap over to Jaketh's side and ask her, you wouldn't have a way to hide this entire situation here, would you? I know you like the shadow thing.
What would be the purpose of this?
I'd like to keep things a little bit calmer in here, a little bit quieter. There's a corpse in the corner. It's making it a little bit messy.
Why am I concerned with mess?
Oh, never mind.
Do I know that it's Zoltan?
Well, Zoltan has a very distinctive clothing style. Why don't you tell us about his distinctive clothing style?
So I think Zoltan is dressed in some sort of military garb, but it's like a mishmash of different military, different parts of military uniforms from different places in the multiverse.
Right. I must insist that he has a bit of a metal sash that goes across his body. from a particularly violent plane.
Yeah, and he's got like it's the like a Victorian era type dress coat,
right?
And combat, more like modern style combat trousers.
Right. That makes perfect sense. So yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely, beret. So yeah, he's slumped over. He's down. It's obvious who he is.
Right. So I'm just gonna be taking notes on my, reporter's notepad.
I think seeing the reporter take notes on this, Jakarth is incensed at the idea of more lies being told, especially in like a scene that she was present in, and I think that Jakarth would then like to call upon the shadows.
Okay.
Jakarth would like to cast some shadows over the scene, so Dessa cannot see what they're writing about. Maybe if it is at all possible to like slow down or darken the room.
Absolutely. So this looks like a good excuse to pull out the mechanics. So on your character sheet, I'm just going to show everyone your character sheet. Waha. So this looks like something that you can very easily do through use of your talents. So this is going to be Spark, because you're using your character is using their powers directly to do things. Now, the way that we do this is you are able to use at most one thing from each category of talent. So one broad talent, one common talent, and one deep talent. So, do you have a broad talent that would apply here?
Magic.
I think that qualifies. Do you have a common talent that would apply here?
Conjurer.
All right. Do you have a deep talent that would apply?
Invisibility shroud?
That sounds about right.
Damn. Trifecta.
Yeah. So, now you should be able to just, if I recall correctly, you should just be able to click on your die, on your spark die. And that should generate it. All right.
13.
Wonderful. That is impressive. So because I haven't gotten around to actually making my character sheet for the GM here, I roll and I get a 10. So you're beating me by 3. So in this situation, you are currently winning. There is 2 ways that I would be able to adjust this result, and anyone can adjust results in these kinds of conflicts. You can spend influence. Everyone starts with 3 points of influence, and not all the characters actually have that on their character sheets right now. I'm just going to fix that. But for instance, in your situation, you start with 3 points of influence. You can also suffer harm. So Influence gives you a +1 bonus after the roll for every point spent. Harm gives you a +3 bonus after the roll. However, the way that harm works is that it works as a ceiling on what size of die you can roll. So right now I'm showing Dessa's character sheet. So right now, the largest die that you can roll is a d20. There's ways that you can roll larger and larger dice as time goes on. But if Desta had 3 points of harm, now the maximum is a d8. Now the maximum is a d6 with 4 points of harm. So you are increasingly reduced in your ability whenever you suffer harm. But it's super powerful. So for instance, I could choose to suffer harm here and tie it up if I wanted to. I'm not going to do so. That's totally fine. I'm going to let you win. Which means two things. One, you get to narrate the outcome. And two, you're going to suffer the price of victory, which is suffering a point of harm just based on the fact that you win the conflict. This is a constant thing. Whenever anyone wins a conflict, they suffer a point of harm because it's tiring, it's exhausting, it takes something out of you. So why don't you add a point of harm and then narrate what happens?
So Jakarth was standing by the bar and had turned to face the scene of Zoltan and Dessa, and she starts chanting in a low, deep voice, and as she's chanting, the dark shadows seem to gather around her, and they peel off over Zoltan and over the room in general, casting like the room looks like the lights have been turned down, and particularly over near the corpse, it looks like there's no light at all. And this, once Jakarth is happy with the darkness in the room, she just suddenly stops chanting, takes a deep breath, and feels weaker and slightly pained from summoning this trick, and goes over to the bar and sits and taps on the bar for another glass of whiskey, thanks.
Of course.
Well,
shaking a bish hand gives you a shot. Yep.
I would love to go tap my brawny cousin Walteri, who's a bouncer here, on the shoulder and be like, "We got to get this guy out of here quick while everything's dark," and go scoop up the corpse under the shoulder, one of us on each side, and be like, "Nothing to see here, people. He's just had a little bit too much to drink," and move him out of the establishment.
All right. So your cousin Volteri doesn't need anyone else to help to carry the body.
Okay.
Because he's a minotaur. And
Nice.
yeah, he can just handle this. Does anyone want to interfere with this process?
I would.
All right.
I want to like head over that way and say make out as like is he okay? Is something wrong?
There's really nothing wrong here. You know, those pan-galactic gargle blasters, they just sometimes they go to your head.
And I'm trying to get a good look at Tan.
I'm going to see if I can try to block the gnome. Hopefully that's easier. I feel like I'm taller than he is.
All right, so this seems like a fun conflict. So, Kagra is going to be rolling smoke because you're using your cousin. By contrast, Dessa is rolling spark because you're trying to actually just actively do this directly.
Mm-hmm.
So, each of you, let's go with Kagra first. Do you have a broad that would apply?
I don't think so. It's just nature, although I guess my family is part of my nature given that I am a bestial creature. All of the other bestials are my family. Can I throw nature on that?
Sure.
Okay. I think that's all I got, though. Hunting and vermin are my...
bestial form?
Oh, yeah. Oh, bestial form, yeah.
You're using your Minotaur cousin.
Okay,
yeah.
that seems good.
All right.
I will throw that. And then rolling my smoke.
Yep.
Let's see. How do I get that? Oh, there we go.
All right.
Not good.
And then Death?
So I don't know, information.
Yep, that totally qualifies.
Secrets.
Yep, sounds like.
I don't think phantasmal forces or blackmail works, so I'll just roll with that.
Okay. Oh, goody. We got a natural tie. So I love ties because of how we deal with those.
Rochambeau?
Very similar. So it's double or nothing. So on a tie, both of you, you have the opportunity to concede if you'd like. Otherwise, each of you proposes an additional thing that you'll get if you succeed. So Kagra may get the body out of here without notice and discover something, or
I want to make friends with the gnome.
Okay. So not only will you drag the body out, but the gnome will be friendly with you afterwards.
I need a journalist on the payroll.
Nice. Dessa, if you win, not only do you get information about what's going on here, but what else?
It can't be contained.
Nice.
And then we roll again?
Yep.
Better.
Okay. So we can still adjust these results by spending influence or suffering harm.
I'm good where I'm at for the moment.
Dessa, do you want to be Kagra's friend?
What can I do? Is it?
You can spend influence, or you can suffer a point of harm. Now, a thing to note: each roll that you're making here is a point of harm for the victor.
Right.
I think it would be more interesting if you won here. So if you suffer a point of harm, I'm not going to spend any influence. You can win.
I'll spend a point of harm.
All right. Sounds good. So then that brings you up to an 8, and you win decisively. So why don't you describe the outcome and then mark an additional 2 points of harm on your character?
No, back here.
Don't worry, we'll explain how you remove that shortly.
Okay, so I take an additional 2.
Yep.
1, 2. So I think what happens is, because I'm making like a scene here and trying to find out what's going on, other people are paying attention as well, and maybe see like blood coming out from the whatever wound he's suffered, and then somebody says, "My God, somebody stabbed Zoltan. Is he dead? What's going on?"
No, nothing to see. Nothing to see here.
A grizzled and hard-smoking young revenant in the corner is looking on the scene, going, "Yeah, he's totally dead. Oh God, yeah, he is dead. Deader than a doornail. Pity. He should join us. Join our team." And wanders on over to the corpse. Yeah, this is a fine piece of a knife work here. Who had the balls to cut up Zoltan here? Huh.
I'm gonna look around the room for suspicious-looking characters.
Yep.
Somehow
you find all of us.
Somehow I don't think the Revenant would have spoken up had it been him that did the knife work.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I don't know.
The Revenant is just a huge fan of death. So
like we all are.
Yeah, exactly. And then just goes back to the drinks. Yeah, so you've got a bleeding corpse, and everyone knows about it. A number of patrons hurriedly move out of the room with this information on the tip of their tongues. And everyone knows about the issue. So, are we good with that? Because I think we've mostly answered the question. What happened to Zoltan? He got stabbed. Most effectively. Professional level stabbing. Or at least semi-pro. All right. So let's go to close the scene. So at the end of each scene, what we do is we look through this belief sheet and determine which of these beliefs we have explored effectively in play. So which of these have we found evidence that supports or refutes these? And whenever we do so, we get a point of influence. So let's start with the GM. Passion is incorruptible. Have we ran into a situation that either gives some solid support for or disproves the idea that passion is incorruptible? There's the basic rule is the rule of meh. If anyone is, I'm not sure, then the answer is no.
Yeah, I feel unsure about that one.
Okay, then the answer is no. Laws are absolute. Nah. Everyone is connected. That's that might be. What do people think?
I had a couple connections for sure. I don't know about everyone, but possibly.
I think so.
Okay, then let's go
I
with
know I
that.
wasn't in that scene, but yeah, I feel like everyone was rather connected and neatly tangled in that scene.
Okay, perfect. So then I will remove that, and that goes into my supply. This means that I cannot get influence from that belief until I've dealt with the other two. Kagra, you can depend on family.
I think so.
Absolutely. Take an influence. Words never solve problems.
I did try to talk Jackath into helping me out with shadows, which she finally did, but I feel like words didn't really solve very much there.
I think there's some solid support, simply on the grounds that words have done nothing but cause problems. So why don't you take that one?
All right.
And laws are for strangers.
I think I was trying to circumvent the law at that point. I did
Trying
not
to cover
want
up a crime.
Yeah, cover up a crime.
Are we all good with that? Let's go with that. All right.
So I get 3 influence up to 6?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Now, because all 3 entries have been filled, it refreshes. And everyone gets a point of influence.
Oh, cool.
All right. Yard. Every path is unique.
I think I've yet to see solid evidence that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
not
I've yet to
quite.
hit on that one.
Not this scene.
Everyone dies, right?
Yeah. No god is greatest.
Yeah.
And passion deceives the heart. Not really.
No.
Not this scene. Jakath, knowledge is a gateway.
I don't think we explored that too well.
Magic cannot be controlled.
I did some pretty good controlling of magic.
Yeah. Why don't you take that one?
Yeah, thanks.
And love is for the weak.
I think we can play with that a little bit more still.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Secrets are living things.
Yeah.
And secrets are dead things as well.
I don't know. Kindness is true strength didn't come up. Words cut deep. You could say I was. I made the situation worse by prodding with questions.
Yeah, you kind of did. So why don't you take that? All right.
That was awesome. Can I grab a coffee real quick?
Yes, I think that sounds like a wise thing. Let's just do one more thing, and then we'll make sure that those of us who are in early time zones get coffee. And I'm amused by time zone differences as Lauren, I think you've got a beer handy. And I'm looking at my clock is like, huh?
This game is drawing in people from all different planes of existence into
Exactly.
one game.
I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like
gotta
Elle might back me up in that it's always bear o'clock in Australia.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
great.
I'm actually about to hit up whiskey o'clock.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Time zones. They're exciting.
Very much so.
Unfortunately, Sunday is not a drinking day for me because I have work in the morning.
Oh, so do I.
Oh dear.
Australia.
Always a day ahead.
Well, I hope Sunday was good for you. So Yeah, so you know how you had suffered a lot of harm, Dessa? You can remove this through one means.
Mhm.
Anyone is able to spend 3 points of influence in order to trigger a interlude. Now, an interlude is a one-on-one scene with another character, where the person spending the influence gets to ask one question that the other person has to answer, either directly or through role-playing, or indirectly through narration. So, if anyone would like to ask you a question, they can do so, or you can ask anyone else a question.
And
Both
they heal.
parties remove 1 harm.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to ask Dessa the Shadow, or sorry, Jakath. Oh no, Dessa took the
Yeah.
wounds.
You can totally do
Yeah,
this even if they don't have harm. It's just there's a mechanical benefit for doing
Okay.
it if they've got harm.
I got a bunch of influence, so I feel like me spending would probably make a strategic sense. I'm going to blow 3 influence to ask Dessa the Shadow Broker. Let's see.
Something about their past, their current thoughts, their future hopes. You know, anything.
Can I
that's left
ask
of
him
the
how to influence them, how to get them to do something for me?
This is more of a elaborate your backstory than
Okay.
a read a sitch kind of.
I would like to find out where Dessa got their journalistic integrity from. Like, what influenced them to be so brave with their journalism.
So, Dessa, would you like to roleplay that or narrate that?
I think I'll narrate it. So, I'm trying to think. So I think there was an accident that maybe someone close to me, like a family member, got involved in. That the city forces within the city tried to cover up and make it look like there was, nobody was responsible. It was just a quirk of fate. But it been say somebody experimenting with dark magics. Somebody from the somebody respected a respected mage within the community, and they were trying to cover that up. So I found out about that, and I wasn't happy that it had been concealed. So I made it that started me on the path of rooting out secrets and exposing them to the city at large.
Awesome. So, both of you remove 1 harm. Does anyone else want to ask questions, or does Dessa want to ask questions?
I have a question, if that's okay.
Sure.
I would like to spend an influence to know what Dessa fears about the future of their journalistic career.
Ooh, love it.
Is that 1 influence or 3 influence to answer?
What I fear about it?
I guess I could. Yeah, I'll spend 2 for that. I want to juice the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you fear? What do you fear about your journalistic future?
That I will discover that I can't keep a secret, but I would also know that it's something that he revealed.
May I ask, would it be appropriate if this was said to Yard, given that there's this spiritual tie with the Oracle and truth and stuff? I guess it's kind of like a confessional-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. That would make perfect sense.
Yeah. Basically, he fears having a truth that he would be concealed, but that he knows he shouldn't.
If Yad can respond, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yad will definitely like place a hand over Dessa's and say, son, as long as you are mindful of your passions in life and follow them through with careful mindfulness towards a true goal, you will never have to fear that truth will lead you to a bad place.
Awesome. That sounds good. So remove more the additional point of harm. Theoretically, it's 3 influence for those kinds of questions, but I'll toss in a point of influence to round it out, so we're all good.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No worries. It's all good. And I think we are all universally needing to refresh our beverages of some variety. I'm going to go for the caffeinated kind. And let's take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Sounds good. Jason, are you around?
Hello.
Oh, hey, Elle, how are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Surviving?
Yeah, I just delivered Luke a glass of whiskey. He's in the middle of the game too.
Oh, wow. What is he playing again?
I forget.
Easily done.
How are you? You look a little bit tired. I'm trying not to touch the yawns off you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this game, and that I feel terrible because I'm like visibly tired. But,
Yeah, no, I pulled up my hood because the light is hurting my eyes. I had a
how
nap
much
before the game, and
how much sleep have
like,
you had all up?
uh, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 hours. Hang on a sec.
Oh, wow.
Feeling much better with a fresh cup of coffee here.
Feel much the same with a beer. So, are we saying you've had 7, 8 hours over the whole weekend, or is that today?
Yeah, so I had a full night's sleep on Friday night. Got up at 6, like for a 6 game, and since then haven't had a great deal amount of sleep. Maybe 8 hours, and I'm going to be kind to myself tomorrow and not set an alarm and just show up to work a little bit late.
That's my plan too.
And if my bosses are watching this for whatever reason,
You're doing
definitely have a
Gauntetcon.
clue. Yeah, of course my boss is here. Hi.
I only got to play in this will be my 4th game, and I've got one more scheduled for my Gauntetcon. So most of the games I didn't
Oh,
get a chance to play in, but I've super been enjoying this. This has been awesome. This is the first online gaming convention I've been to. So
likewise.
Yeah, same.
What's
This will make my sixth game and last game for the con.
well played. 6 games is impressive.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, this is my 5th out of 7. So
Yeah,
nice.
great.
I took Friday off from work to play a game, so it was pretty awesome. I played 3 games on Friday.
Awesome.
What did you play?
My first one was, let me see, I played a game called Classics Funnel. That was super fun. My first, I also played the Indie Hack, Crystal Kingdoms. It was like a Eternia hack of it. And then
Yeah, I wanted to play that. I was on the wait list and then dropped out.
Oh,
for was that this morning? Or like was that about
that was Friday.
Friday? Oh yeah, no, that's 6
My
a.m.
first
here.
game was the Worldwide Wrestling Gauntlet Roadshow. I had a Mexican wrestler, a luchador named the Jaguar. He was really fun. I played him very serious. Backstage, he acted exactly the same as he did on stage. So he had a wooden box full of candies that were the traditional food of his people, and his mask was handed down from his father. It was really fun. I don't really know very much about wrestling, but we had a really good time.
I've definitely heard stories about your character, so it's that's permeated like Gauntetcon as far as I'm aware.
The Jaguar did, really?
Yeah, like I forget who was talking about it, but I definitely heard about the Jaguar.
That's weird because there was only like one GM and one other player in that game, so
Was that Adam or
I think so. I don't
yeah.
remember. I'm a little sleep deprived right now.
I feel you loud and clear.
Yeah, this is Gauntlet Sleep Deprived Con.
It's how a good con should be, honestly. You know, if you're missing a lot of sleep, you're probably doing it right.
All right. Are we good to get back to it?
Let's do it.
All right. So we're going to follow the same process and roll our smoke attributes again.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. So how about all the threes re-roll? So Kagra and Yard. So 3.4. And Kagra?
I got a oh, it looks like a 3.
Okay. So it is myself, followed by Yard, followed by Kagra. So I'm going to go with the question and force Yard to decide on either the platform or the tilt.
Sorry, I was totally muted. I would I would like to go for the platform. I've got a weird idea. No, I hopefully got a good idea for it.
All right. And then we get Kagura doing the tilt. So, let us start with the platform.
Can we get your pretty face back, Jason, while we're doing this part of the game?
Okay, yeah. I suppose I just have to find my pretty face first. Oh, look, I have a face.
Woo!
A face in a dark dungeon.
So we've had kind of like a seedy bar area. Is there kind of like a seedy place where one might proffer other like fleshy indulgences, for lack of a better term?
Yes. So what kind of fleshy abundances would you like? We have...
go for it.
So we have everything ranging from various places in the stacks and the breeding warrens, but there's also places where huge amounts of food and or cannibalism can occur. So depends on what kind of fleshy indulgences you're looking for.
Can I just say, like, I love the fact that on the menu or the buffet is like cannibalism and then also like the other like normal boring stuff. Like, I just love that that's a thing. I guess I was thinking more like tapping into the love passion kind of thing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So how about some of the cramped apartments stacked on top of each other that are giant fire traps in the stacks?
Awesome,
Very
I love
thin
it.
walls.
Yeah, and I I like to think that's such a great place for this guy to be because in theory he's very well connected and like has a lot of money, right? But he goes to this
Yep.
really seedy, like awful, cheap, dirty
Yep.
establishment to have these
Yep.
relations with one lady in particular. I feel like the platform is with is it okay if I say like with perhaps like we know of maybe his squeeze on the side that he's been seeing and we can have a chat to her about her relationship with the deceased? Is that fine? Or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
just like
sure.
hitting up the place?
Yeah, that's okay. It's sort of on the edges of your narrative authority, but it's still fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how far I can push
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Or I'm fine also if like we're just investigating a place we know he hangs out, which happens to be the stacks.
Well, you can always go with the apartment of person named X, the main
Oh,
squeeze
true.
of.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's simplified. But she
Yep,
lives in this real city area. I love it. So we're
perfect.
gonna see Lola, his piece on the side, who lives in this really like squicky part of the stacks, and
Sounds good.
yeah.
So is this at the bottom of one of the stacks, being with a constant terror that it will collapse on top of her, in the middle of the stacks, where you can hear everything and you're surrounded by everyone, or near the top of the stacks, where it moves in the wind. Uh,
Oh man, you ask some really good questions, and I hate you. Let's go for. I kind of like the idea of the middle where everyone's going to hear your business. Like I like the we've had a very public scene in the pub. I love having a public scene in this seedy apartment.
Sounds good. Um, all right, so Tilt. That would be Kegra.
All right. The tilt is going to be. Um, hmm, I think my uncle Alvo is going to fill us in that this person may have some information about Zoltan's murder.
Okay. Um, so I'm going to say that the question is, also there's someone waving in the background, which is adorable. So I'm going to say that the question is, what will Lola confess embarrassingly to Yard? All right. So Lola's sitting there awkwardly trying to offer you tea, but you are not quite certain what the tea is made out of. Like, it grew
That's
once. There's hot water. So, what can I help you with?
um
Lola's actually a half giant. So, in a relatively small apartment. So, she's cramped over hunched, but still offering you remarkably delicate china. She's apparently very careful and gentle with all of her things. She actually has a small little glass display with glass carvings and sculptures.
I love it. I feel amidst all of this, like that stands out, but then so does Yard, because he's quite ornate, or at least he keeps himself very clean, and so his white robes that are like they've got this sort of little gold eccentricities to sort of play into his like pious nature, and it just is starkly contrasted by the apartment that's like everything's like maybe fifth, sixth hand, kind of like broken down. He's perched on like the end of his seat because he doesn't quite trust that he'll be able to get out of the couch if he completely relaxes in it again. So he's looking very uncomfortable. And he looks at the tea that is being offered and takes a cup and maybe lifts it to his lips but doesn't quite take a sip. Yep. He doesn't quite trust what's in there.
Yeah, that's fair.
And am I allowed to name like who else is in this scene, or do you just want to jump in?
Yep.
Because I definitely have brought along my companion or colleague or whatever our odd relationship is, Dessa the Shadow Broker, to come facilitate
of course, yeah,
our investigation, definitely.
And Kagra's clearly there, because Kagra's the one who Kagra takes care of the stacks.
Nice.
And is the inn. And I'm assuming that Jakat's probably not invited but present anyways, invisible in the corner.
100%. She blends in really well with like all the drab like store-bought paintings that like Lola's put up that aren't real paintings.
Yeah, wonderful. So, what can I do for you?
Well, my child, I was wondering if you'd heard the news.
What news?
I have it on rather good authority that you're acquainted with a Mr. Zoltan.
You actually see her. She goes still, but not in the way that you expect her to go still. Oh. Him.
He looks to her and he says, I may be prying a little bit, but I'm getting a sense from your aura that there's some trouble or tension there with that relationship.
There is no relationship.
Oh. Interesting. So what was the nature of your relationship exactly?
No one says no to Zoltan and keeps their tongue.
Ah. It is that sort of relationship.
Yep.
Well,
did he compensate you for your services?
Well, this Drek that you're drinking is all he's given me for my time, my effort, and my body.
oh my god.
Yep.
I think I'm going to need a drink of water after this news. Excuse me. She's going to stand up and go to the kitchen. If there is one.
Yep, there is. There is a bucket of water there.
while I'm around the corner, I would like to use some wild sorcery to determine if she's telling the truth or not.
That's not something that wild sorcery is good for.
Curses. Okay. What is wild sorcery good for? I'm unfamiliar.
Creating a tree in the middle of a courtyard, shapeshifting someone into a pig,
Okay.
that kind of thing.
Big effects.
Summoning a tempest.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of why you have a journalist with you.
I was going to say, does that journalist have those skills?
Yeah, that journalist absolutely has those skills.
Well,
I'll motion to him. Are you telling the truth?
Yeah, I would be looking for like non-verbal cues or
All right.
like.
So why don't you roll for that? Because she's clearly wanting to not display these nonverbal cues.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you get a read, give Yard a kick to the shin and be like, that's the thing the secret sign is just a swift kick to the shin.
Again, information, secrets.
Yep.
And I don't think anything else applies.
8 versus my 3. So yeah, you just win.
And I take point of harm.
Yep, point of harm. So the one telling thing is that she is being remarkably open in telling you about what a piece of shit this mob boss and head of the Avengers is.
So you already knew he was dead, yeah?
I surmised. He doesn't like anyone to speak to his conquests.
Is there something on her person that may suggest that she's a believer of some sort of deity?
Yeah, actually, there's actually a small recessed alcove, and the really painfully thin curtains that sort of shield it from view have enough holes that you can see that there looks to be some kind of stone flower sculpture inside. So yeah, it looks like she's a worshiper of Morkana, the Sheltering Stone. And for your benefit, since you probably don't have the description of the gods in front of you, and I like this description anyways, I'll just read it out to people.
You're a saint.
I'm mostly just vain and proud of my prose. Morkana, the Sheltering Stone, power of love, hearth, and protection. It is Morkana. It is the stone that shelters. It is the last of the primordials. It is simple, but it keeps its worshippers safe. It is shelter from the storm, from conflict, from fear, and even from death. It cares for worshippers of flesh, of stone, and of clay. It is strong and eternal, so worshippers need not be. It wants worshippers happy and together with family. It misses family.
Oh god, that is so tragically beautiful for this scene. For sure, Yard's gonna see that from the corner of his eye. He puts down his teacup. There's like a little clink as it connects with the coffee table in front of him.
Yep.
He stands, and I'm guessing she's like maybe a bit taller than him because he's quite tall to begin with, but she's like a half giant.
Yeah. So she's about 8 feet.
Nice. He offers a hand out and says, I get the sense that there is a deep, disconcerting disconnect between where you want to be and where your path is taking you and your current state of being. And he's trying to sort of get into that whole, like, you clearly worship someone who is for love and commitment and solidarity, but you're in this situation with this gentleman who clearly didn't give a shit about you.
We have to withstand some things in this life.
This is true, but in this life, is it not best to seek that which calls deep within you, and remove those blockages and those pathways to get to your true unique path where you belong, so that when it comes time for you to pass on through to the next life or the next world, that you feel true peace, that you have conquered that which you set out to do in this realm.
I don't think for myself. I think for others. My task is not to create. It's not to lead. It's to deal with the shit so that others don't have to.
He gives her another long look, like maybe there's an uncomfortable silence. And he says, "My child, while there are many voices to the divinities of divine that speak to us, and while I am no prophet for one or the other, I would greatly appreciate it if you would take the time with me to sit down and discuss this, so I may help cleanse you of that which troubles you."
I don't think I can be cleansed.
That is so sad to hear. Why can you not be cleansed?
How's the tea?
Delightful. But he hasn't actually had tea.
Well, I'm certain that you lot must have a lot on your plates. I'll let you get back to it.
I can see we've overstayed our welcome. Thank you for the tea.
Before we go, you know who might be ballsy enough to try something like this?
I can think of a few names. They're expensive names.
I have, my family is large and influential. Perhaps we might have something you would desire. A nicer living quarters, perhaps. Something more your size.
I like my little slum. It's as big as I deserve.
Well, I can see there's nothing that you want for it, then.
A bit of coin for some rotted bread would be useful, though, if you have any. Sorry to be so crass, but...
Is that on my character sheet somewhere?
No, it's just narrative. Take me down quite effectively.
I'll give her what I have in my pockets.
Got 10 ales, the bloody ice elf you're looking for. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's a knock on the door. It's actually rather low down. The door opens and the little imp bartender comes on in. Is this a bad time? No, come on in.
It is never a bad time. It is always the right time for our paths to run true towards that which we are, and then he sort of goes off on a religious tangent.
Yep. All right. And that seems like we ended the scene.
I also feel like Yard slips his business cards like on the coffee table.
Yep.
Because he totally has a business card.
All right. So let's get back to displaying the belief sheet because we're going to need that. Okay. So, passion is incorruptible. How do we feel?
I think it certainly is corruptible. You see this poor soul here who's clearly passionate about, something, but she chooses to have that passion corrupted for the sake of the passion. So I don't know, did I just cancel out my own thoughts there?
No, I understand. That makes sense.
Also,
okay.
Jason, if I had tears left, I would cry because that was such a tragic scene.
We should play more games together.
Please. I need more tragedy.
This is more my style. I should tell you about my game of social justice wizards at some point.
What? If it wasn't like 1 a.m. and I wouldn't wake everyone up, I would. That sounds amazing. Oh my god.
Powered by the apocalypse.
Oh my god, I need that in my life so badly.
All right.
Can you switch the Roll20 display to bring up the belief sheet?
Oh yes. Yes.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
I always forget that it doesn't show 1 for 1.
I did that all the time when I was using Roll20 as well too. So I shouted out the reminder.
Yeah, great. So passion is incorruptible is gone. Laws are absolute.
Meh.
You can depend on family.
I don't think there was. I mean, my uncle was kind of a lead into this, but my family didn't really show up.
Yeah. Words never solve problems.
I feel like that was very true. Like, I don't feel like anything was solved here. Maybe we got a clue, but like this lady's life is pretty rough.
And laws are for strangers.
Meh.
Okay. So Cover got 1. Every path is unique. Yep.
I'm just that poor woman is probably like every other woman in that situation that is so like not unique, and it's so sad, and I just can't get over that. And I kind of feel like for No God is greatest, I'm kind of feeling the inverse, where it's like no God is greatest, but the divinity she worshipped clearly wasn't it. Like whoever she's speaking to is not speaking back.
Right. Now the question is, did she ask for help?
She really didn't. I felt like I was really like pushing this preachy, like, please come and talk to me. Like you could, but she just was not reciprocating.
So I think she was not asking for help even though she needed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. All right.
Maybe that she gave up on asking for help a long time ago.
Yep.
Oh, that's so sad.
Oh, and passion deceives the heart.
I feel like hit that right. Like that was like she just feels so misled and her heart's all over the place and so she's so directionless.
Let's take that. So everyone gets one influence, and Yard has 3.
Jason, thank you so much for that scene. That's gonna stay with me for a while.
My absolute pleasure.
Happen influence, or is it
Nope.
just okay?
When you hit 15 at the end of a session, you can change your belief. And if that happens, you also change one of the tethers to Sig, so the city itself changes. Knowledge is a gateway.
Well, we learned the name of somebody who will, help us get to the next clue. So I don't know if that's counts as that.
Yeah, I don't feel like.
Okay. If
right.
not, then we'll hit 15.
Yeah.
Love is for the weak.
I kind of feel like we did hit on that a bit because you have this half giant who is actually being really quite strong and seems to have like shut down the ability to love to survive. So I think in a way we kind of have.
Yep. And kindness is true strength.
Oh, I might actually start crying. Like that's so sad.
So do we want kindness is true strength? As proof against? Because clearly kindness to yourself is not strength. Ignoring your own feelings is true strength, according to this scene.
I feel like we hit on that. Like that's resonating with me. I'm just saying, but it's fine if it doesn't resonate with you.
No, I was thinking, actually along the lines of, like you were trying to be kind to them, and
Yep.
that
sounds good. Okay. So that gets you 1 point of influence, and everyone else gets influence.
Okay.
Sounds good. Now we just have one more scene. Does anyone want to have an interlude?
Who else has harm at all?
I think you're the only one.
Yeah. You've been the one winning conflicts.
I think I have harm from the first scene at the pub.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, I totally need to ask you a question about love and dread.
Go for it.
I'm just trying to formulate it.
I have a question for Kagra, if that.
Yep. Go for it.
Is okay.
Yeah.
I think as we have left the stacks, whether this conversation is going on while we're walking or while we're sitting down over more whiskey. Jakar looks at Kagra and you see what family and love can do to a person. What is the worst thing that someone that you've loved has done to you? And I think the motives behind Jakra asking this question is that she wants her to question her belief about how much family is important. I think she wants her to remember when she was hurt.
Oh, love is the most painful thing I have ever experienced. I've taken knives through the heart. But that is the thing about love. It makes you vulnerable. It lets people inside. It is the most painful thing, but also it is the most worthwhile thing. That pain is the price you pay, and I will gladly pay it again and again.
Clearly, you have never opened a book in your life.
Perhaps not.
Thanks.
Any more questions?
I totally have a question for Jokath. Why did love scorn you?
Scorn me? Love has not scorned me. I have witnessed love fall and rise and fall again around me day after day. I do not need to be scorned personally to see the scorn that is love.
I love that.
Thanks.
Any more questions?
I'd like to ask Jakath about the nature of her friendship with Lori. Jakath, you don't let people in close to you. Why would you be friends with somebody as vain as my sister?
You use the word friend with a different meaning to what I apply it in this situation. I appreciate Lauren's veracity with learning and her skills as an illusionist, but I think that her vanity, as you might call it, is actually one of her greatest strengths.
Indeed, I would have to agree.
Awesome. So I think we handled that pretty nicely. So let's do one more scene. Everyone roll your smoke. All right. So is that everyone? Yeah, Jakath, Kagra, Yard, and Dessa. So, Jakath and Yard, reroll. All right. So it is Yard, followed by Jakath, followed by Dessa.
Oh my god. So I get the first pick of the...
Yeah, which of those three would you like?
Oh, jeez. I'm tossing it between the tilt and the question. I'm gonna go for the question.
Okay.
Can I have the tilt?
Sure. So Dessa's stuck with the platform.
Okay. So, well, we start in the CD bar, so I don't want to end in the CD bar.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we find, you know, it's a CD bar called the Beholder's Eye. Which is it's a hangout for more criminal elements, where the what's his name, the elf
Taniel.
Nightblade is said to hang out.
All right. What is the signature drink of this establishment?
Cool. Cold Heart whiskey.
Okay. What makes Cold Heart whiskey special?
It deadens your emotional state.
Nice.
I think I've had too many glasses of that one.
Kudos.
Nice. All right, Tilt.
So I think the angle that we are looking at in coming here, we want to get a feeling for like motives and what other like magical essences might be at play.
So the Tilt, the inciting incident that is forcing us to act in the scene is...
Yeah, okay, sorry. I made up another idea about what Tilt was.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Okay. There
it
is
both
a
late and early, respectively.
Sorry?
It is both late and early simultaneously. So yes,
Yeah.
all good.
I will just turn like my idea of what Tilt was into what's happening. So I think that there is some sort of magical convergence around this site, whether it's the Beholder's Eye,
Okay.
or it's the land that the around the pub,
Okay.
and or those that inhabit it. So I think there might be a bit of a violent, like magical episode happening.
Okay, sounds good.
This bodes well for wild sorcery.
So, question.
Totally. I have like 3 on my mind. Is that okay to proffer like a is this the last scene of the game?
Yeah, let's just say that.
Okay, cool. So I'm kind of toying with 3 questions. One is like, which god is responsible for this? The other is just like, who is responsible for this, if you want to do it a bit more vague. And then the other one is who will leave here alive. Those are the kind of 3 that I'm toying with.
What do people think?
I like the last one.
That was pretty
Cool.
dramatic. I dig it too.
Awesome. We're getting the fiasco ending, guys. Let's go for who will leave this place alive.
So, we find you in a bar. The 4 of you are sitting at the table. How many of you have Cold Heart whiskey in front of you?
I feel like this whole time, Yard's been just drinking like water.
Okay. Yeah.
I just get a regular whiskey. I don't.
Okay.
And the entire time, Jakar's drinking whiskey, the coldest heart whiskey.
I can see why you like this stuff.
Yeah. So you actually see Kagra visibly relax after that really messy and emotional scene in the stacks. Just continuing to drink the Cold Heart whiskey. And you see the door open, and an absolutely beautiful man with long braided hair and looks like small bells made out of ice braided throughout his hair. Is there any other detail about him? 1 second. I have a decent description of his people. Clad in starlight and snowflakes, this people lived a life of bliss, eating thin delicacies, toasting each other with wine made of the night. The people were tall, slender, and beautiful, with skin so pale their blue veins showed through. Their eyes were pale ice blue or red, their hair silver or golden. Their speech, rarely used, was the sound of water freezing. They excelled in the arts of poetry, of delicate ice sculpture, and of elaborate dance. Those are the Polari. And Tenael is one of their number.
Do I get a positive ID on this character? Do I know this is Toniel?
Yep.
I'm going to leap up onto the bench that I'm standing on in the bar and call out Taniel and then try to capture him using my wild sorcery.
Question. Do you have enough passion left in your cold heart to do this?
I actually am going passionless because I don't care about the other patrons
Okay.
in the bar at this point, including some of my relatives are here.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'm going to use Chaos for my basic talent.
Okay.
My broad talent. Hunting for my common talent.
Okay.
I'm hunting this Ice Elf character, and then Wild Sorcery for my deep talent.
All right. And you're trying to unleash chaos to what?
I want to bind Tariel. I want the floor to grow branches and leaves that wrap around him and pin him down.
Sounds good. Naturally enough, he disagrees with this.
I got a 12.
I got a 9. So I'm going to suffer a point of harm to tie it up.
I will drop a point of influence to untie it.
I really want to interfere.
Okay. Oh, yes, I should have actually given the proper rules. So there's actually a way that people can help. And it increases the size of one's die by a step. So how would you like to interfere?
Well, as soon as Tanel walked in the tavern, I saw a physical embodiment of how my heart feels.
Okay.
And Jakarth suddenly realized what love is, but also at the same time felt it with absolute coldness and logic. She recognized a kindred soul.
Yep.
And she could see this magic that this family man was trying to weave, and immediately wanted, like, tried to cast like a portal to open up underneath where Kagura was standing and casting the magic to
Right.
like I don't think Jakarth wants to send Kagura off to another realm or anything. She just wants to like send him through this portal that she conjures, and he wakes up like comes through the portal and is behind the tavern, like he's
Right. You want to kick him out of the tavern.
yeah.
Okay, so in this context, let's repurpose my role to be a support for your action and have you roll.
Okay.
Kagra, I'll let you refund that influence.
Okay.
You can just get that back, and I'll let you. So why don't you roll for Jakath for your effect, but increase the size of your spark by 1.
Okay, so that's now D10.
Yep.
All right. So can I tick off as many of these talents as suitable?
1 in each category.
Okay, so planes,
Yep.
planar gates,
Yep.
and portal smith.
Yep. That works. So why don't
All right.
you roll?
Huzzah!
All right. So you have a total of 7.
Ooh, not that impressive.
So would you like to adjust your total?
Yeah, I want this to kind of be a really depressing romantic gesture. Like,
Okay.
so did you say I can spend influence?
You can spend influence or suffer harm.
Oh, I think Jakarth would want to suffer harm.
Yeah, that makes sense as your heart starts ripping it out of your chest. That makes sense.
So just 1?
1 gives you a +3.
You'll need to suffer at least 2 to beat my total.
Yeah,
or you could do 1 harm, 2 influence.
I think I'm going to take 3 harm because this is
just
pretty.
do 2.
Just take 2.
Because when you win, you also suffer a harm.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
So
right.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Kagra, do you want to allow this?
Yeah, I'm thinking if my companion here is showing this much emotion, I'm going to check my impulse and go with what she wants. So I will willingly release my spell and fall through the portal.
Okay. Sounds good.
That sounds so comical to me as well. Like, whoop.
So, Jakath, why don't you narrate what happens as well as marking the 3 points of harm total that you received?
Yeah. So, so Jakarth is like completely fixated on Tennille, and the black shadows conjure around her as she is chanting once again, and this dark shadow starts growing beneath Kagura and starts to swirl and becomes like more colorful, and then it becomes all the colors of the visible spectrum and the magical spectrum, and Kagura just looks like the floor's been taken out from under her and she's gone from the pub. And all the while this is happening, she does not stop staring at Tennille.
So,
I need a quick bio break. This seems like a good place for it. I will be right back.
Yep, totally. So I'm envisioning that there's actually there's a period of time that you don't know if it's a second or an eternity, with Jakat and Tanael staring into each other's eyes. And here is a space that we could in the future flash back to the discussion, but we're not looking at right now. Of this discussion between the two of you silently looking at each other and looking into each other's hearts. And then Tanael looks away and then looks back at the table. How can I help you?
I think Jakarth is like speechless. I don't think she knows how to handle what is going on inside her brain and body at the moment. So I think like she just doesn't say a word, and maybe one of the other members of the troop has to like interject to break this really like awkward silence.
Yeah, everyone else is pretty much sitting there going, so we missed half of the conversation.
So,
I feel like this whole time Yard is just sitting at the bar sipping his water, not acknowledging any of this, like on a different plane.
Yep.
The certain citizen by the name of I keep forgetting his damn name. Zoltan.
Yes.
According to Wikipedia, Zoltan is a Hungarian
Shut
masculine
up.
given
What?
name. It originates from the
What is Zoltan?
I didn't realize Wikipedia was in this world.
I don't know how that happened. So, came to an unfortunate end, or fortunate, depending on your point of view. I was wondering if you could shed any light on that.
I could certainly shed some light on that. What kind of light would you like? Starlight, moonlight, corpse light? There's many options available.
I was wondering if you knew what the motivation behind that was.
Oh, certainly. Money.
That's boring.
It's also quite useful. I'm a big fan of monetary compensation for my hard work. In the background, there's a small rift in the wall, and a shadowy slug comes out and is just crawling along a table. Flashback. So, is that all? You wish to know what exactly?
How'd you pull off?
So he reaches under his cloak and pulls out a elegant sword of forged starlight. It's not that hard when you think about it. But really, points the sword at you. Who sent you?
Nobody sent me.
Yes, of course. No one is snooping around the private business affairs of the primary assassin for the Guild of Advocates.
I'm just naturally curious.
That's a dangerous habit.
I've been told that before.
Look, I'm just coming here to drink and perhaps to have some other conversations at a later point. Glances at Jakath in the eyes. Another quick flash of discussion that's off camera. Coming back. Unless we have business to discuss, I think I'll get on with it. And he starts almost sashaying over to the bar. You actually see glimmers of stars moving on his cloak, his black cloak. And his sword just fades out. Look, another cold heart. Of course, Danielle. And a pint of cold heart whiskey is slid his way.
Okay. Access to money, like
yeah, so he has so have you seen John Wick?
not yet. It's sitting somewhere over there for me to watch, but I haven't got around to it yet.
They pretty much have a currency that they use internally because they don't care about real money. Because their fees are so high, they have a separate currency. That's the thing we're talking about here. He usually works in favors. He's actually slumming it if he takes cold hard cash for a job. So, Tenniel actually grabs his pint and sits down beside Yard. You don't look like you're used to this kind of establishment.
Yard raises his glass of water and is like, "Oh, whatever gave you that impression?" And then he takes a sip.
You should try some of this stuff. That's good for you.
He eyes the cold whiskey and just gives a little shudder and is like, why on earth would one want to dull their senses when there is so much to experience in this world beyond our mortal mundane vision?
Don't know it. Don't knock it till you try it. Takes
That's
a
good
swig.
pitch. Maybe he does swirl, sort of. He's standing up quite straight and sort of swirls it around a little bit. Maybe gives it a sniff, and to him it just smells like acetone and dead dreams.
It actually smells like a memory that you remember that you had a memory, but it faded. It's disappeared. You've lost the memory. That's the smell.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
So it's pretty much drinking Alzheimer's.
Oh man, that is heavy. And I feel like the feeling he gets is, that when you can't quite think of a thing, but it's in the back of your brain and you just really can't access it. That's totally how he's feeling right now.
Yep.
Maybe like lifts it a little higher to his nose. I'm trying to see. I'm just checking my stuff. I'm trying to tap into. Maybe I'm kind of curious. Maybe he does take a sip. I think he does take a sip.
Yep. And he just relaxes.
For once in his life.
Yep.
His like shoulders sag a bit, and he takes a sip and kind of looks to Neil and says, "This is troubling. I don't feel quite right with myself."
Have another sip. The feeling goes away pretty fast.
And maybe he does, very tentatively. And I feel like as he drinks more, right, like the mental faculties he's built up, they're so attuned to control and like maintaining one's passion, because while one's passion is the really truest thing you can chase in life, you really need to maintain that vision on the future that would see that you achieve your goal, right? And oh my god, I don't know like how this passion's going to manifest, but I feel like this is when Yard's like passion maybe blossoms a bit more beyond his rigid control of every part of his life, from what he eats and drinks to how he sits and what he wears and stuff.
Yeah. So there's a puff of smoke as some kind of bird thing comes flying out of a flaming portal in the ceiling.
Nice. It's totally normal. And maybe Yard looks at it and he's not that phased. He's kind of like relaxed and is watching this bird emerge. And yeah, I think he's just gonna sort of see where it goes. He's sort of like chilling out and going with the vibe a bit now.
You feel some cold spider legs climbing up your left leg.
Oh, done.
He jerks his leg away when he feels like it's holding on his leg, and goes like a and then he like stumbles backwards.
Yeah, that's who gets the spider.
Yeah, look down.
Yep. So it's a 13-eyed spider made out of ice, roughly the size of your head.
Oh jeez. I feel like he has to like.
I'm gonna have to try and like shake that off.
Yeah, please. I envision Yard's like he's tripped on his back at this point.
And then you hear a buzzing from behind the bar. There's a cloud of insects of some kind seem to be buzzing out.
Can I try and
there's a grinding noise by the front door as some kind of rock snake emerges.
Have I seen anything like this before? Have I heard of anything like this?
It looks like some random wildlife from the Plain of Stones. There's a bit of lightning in the other corner of the room as sort of this cloud of lightning bounces around. Yeah, so you just keep on seeing, more and more small portals are opening throughout the place.
I feel at this point, Yard's just like feverishly praying, like, "Oh Jesus, I made a mistake. Why did I do that?"
Yep. Yep. And then just more and more wildlife and vermin from the plains come streaming in through small rents and rifts. So, Kyra,
I feel like this is a good point for me to return, since I am part of the League of Exterminators. My leverage is transporting vermin and pests to anywhere I choose in the verse. Can I use my wild sorcery to do that?
Yes, you can. And there is no roll required. Spend 1 influence, and you do it.
All right. I will bust through the doors and start. Let's see here. He moves his arms into a strange pumping motion as puffs of liquid or gaseous teleportation shoot out like so much bug spray onto the various vermin around the bar. And he leaps from place to place, puffing them away to harmless dimensions.
Okay. Yep, so you're able to get rid of the vermin, but the portals are still open. And they keep on spreading and growing.
I want to shut them down, if possible. Can I use my wild sorcery to obliterate them?
I love your phrasing on that. Yes, you can use your wild sorcery to obliterate them.
So I'm going to take broad talent chaos, common talent vermin, and then deep talent wild sorcery.
Okay. Yeah, so if you succeed, you will obliterate and seal all the portals. But the bar is not going to be in great shape, nor most of the people in the bar.
Also, you know, that whiskey is just hardening my heart against those people at this point. I'll probably pay for it.
So does anyone want to interfere with the, say, summoning a giant ball of chaos and nature in this bar that's going to wrap up and seal all the portals and probably trap you inside a jungle hellscape?
Yeah, this sounds like passion overwhelming one's senses. I'm fine to interfere here.
Okay. How would you like to interfere?
Yard pulls himself to his feet and begins a very structured ritual of like freeform dance, like sort of like what is it? Interpretive dance. So that's how he's going to perform this like ritual to command the realm of this reality and this space to narrow down and mute and focus.
Okay, sounds good. Anyone else want to participate?
I want to. Sorry.
Jakath isn't interfering or anything. Jakath just takes a couple of steps closer to Tennille and just stares at him some more.
Tennille actually just holds Jakath and walks her out of the bar.
She's absolutely stunned. She has nothing to say. She just goes with him. Yeah. No idea what's going on.
All right.
So,
Dessa,
Dessa pulls out like a gemstone from one of his pockets and is gonna like try and flick it up in the air and create a fireworks type illusion to distract.
All right. Who are you distracting, Kagra or Yard?
Kagra.
Okay. So let's get a Kagra versus Yard.
Got a 9.
Cool. So this is the first time I've rolled. So like, would you mind helping me through the steps?
Okay, so you're going to be using your spark. So let's look at your skills.
Cool.
So you're clearly using So are you using your fashion, your passion, or your fire, your passion, or your religion?
I feel like at this point he's leaning quite heavily on. Ooh, I think passion or religion. I'm happy with either.
Okay. Fire purifies, which is also a useful thing. You can always use metaphorical fire.
He's totally burning down this place, but in a holy way.
Do you want to use purification?
Yes, I would love to purify the devil forces from within this place.
Okay. And religious law or burning hands? Are you just burning away the magic?
Yeah, I'm just burning away the magic. I just love that imagery. Like, that's so great.
Fantastic. So burning hands. All right. And then you click on the spark die.
Oh, cool.
And it should roll.
That is really easy.
You beat me by quite a bit there. I will, since we're nearing the end of our session, I will drop 2 wounds on that.
Wow. Okay. Why is it not showing for me? It's... So it doesn't seem to be showing for me right now. So what was... there it is. Oh, yeah. Okay, so 2 wounds. So then that pushes you up to 15. Do you want to accept this?
As Yard?
Yeah.
I'm fine with this. Like, I kind of like
Okay. Trying, but not quite succeeding. Yep, sounds good.
And he's gonna feel quite guilty about it because he's had like 2 sips of alcohol, which is the most alcohol he's had in his life.
Oh, of course, yeah. All right. So then the jungle builds up. You try to burn it away, but it just keeps on growing. And pretty much you get a Jumanji scene inside. And the bar itself just seals up. The only ones who are outside of the bar are Jakath and Tanael as they wander off into the night.
That is so beautiful.
All right.
Like the 2 whole worst people in the whole game.
I love that. It's on tone for the rest of my games.
All right. So are we good with that? Or do we want to just quickly run through the beliefs just so we can see what we hit, and then we'll close it out?
That sounds good.
Okay. So laws are absolute. Not really.
No.
You can depend on family. Laws are for strangers. Meh. Every path is unique. I'll totally give that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, yeah.
No god is greatest.
I feel like my religion lost out over the wild sorcery that was going on. So I'm not quite sure how that feeds into it, but
Let's say sure.
Something about it. And then passion totally deceives the heart. He had like a little bit of booze and then the world exploded.
Yep. Knowledge is a gateway.
Nah, there was not much knowledge going on there.
No, I think it's proved against.
Oh, okay, yes, good points. Yeah, totally. There was other gateways going on there, wasn't there?
Yep. Secrets are living things. Yep, I think let's give that, because there were totally a lot of living secrets in that session. Kindness is true strength.
Not really.
No. Is that
I think we
against it, or
disproved that again.
Disproved it?
I think so.
Sure, let's go with that.
There was a lot of strength, but it wasn't necessarily kind.
True. And words cut deep.
Meh?
Nah. All right. So
I'm running
yeah,
a bit late for my other game, so I'll just say
good.
goodbye.
So thank you
Thanks
very
again,
much.
guys.
Hope that was good for everyone.
That was good, yeah. I do have time to pop onto Discord for a bit if people want to debrief.
Yeah.
Cool. I will stop the broadcast.